for that.
What?
There's a reason they come here, because they actually enjoy it.
Well, actually, one of the reasons I came here this year was for my About Conventions panel. It wound up actually being me, someone working on the World Convents and whatnot. But anyway, back on topic. This deal does not exist in Portland. We do not have that way to get a discount on the event space. So theoretically, if we had the same amount of attendees as Kumoricon did in a single year, let's just pretend we had the same amount of attendees as Kumoricon, and the same amount, and we charge the same amount for attendance as Kumoricon, which is more than us, but I forget by how much. They're like, what, 60, 70?
60.
60.
Yeah.
We would have significantly less money. So we would basically be the same size as Kumoricon in a venue like Kumoricon, but but our budget would be about a third, maybe 1/2 of theirs to do everything else. Get guests, pay for programming, buy equipment, arrange for video games and stuff like that. So you can see this is a really big deterrent to ever. This is one of the hurdles that we have to face if we ever did want to look at being convention center convention. Is that we're looking at being in a style very much the same as SOC, but with handicaps and problems that Kumoricon doesn't have. So I'm not saying that we should kill the idea of going to convention center. I think we should always look at it. We should always reevaluate. We should always see if it's possible that certain deals might get made. But I mean, even though we are very big fish, the idea that Hilton's corporation is going to deal with all the financial fees and legalities of entering into a formal contract with the city of Portland for the sake of one convention is not huge. Because if we were at the convention center, our convention hotel would still be the DoubleTree Lloyd Center, which is about 4 blocks away. So we'd still be looking at being there. So I mean that's one of the major problems of being there. Even if we didn't want to be there, when you're at a convention center, what happens, and this is from people who work with Kumoricon, people also work at other conventions, the cost for power to run events is actually higher once you deal with convention centers. The biggest bit of your budget when you're a convention center convention is your power budget. Lighting, power to vendors, and other stuff like that. It's about half your budget. I won't say what percentage of our budget that it is, but let me tell you, it's not half. We'd really be dealing with having to completely gut our budget. There are some things we can do to help deal with that. One of the things that we're looking at talking about long-term use here to do the convention center is if we start replacing our equipment, especially our lights with high-efficiency ones. As some of you might have been aware, that was a consideration this year. We do pay for power at this hotel. Not nearly how, we don't pay the wattage rate that the wattage rate here is nothing compared to what it is at the convention center. But it's still there. Some people might mention that the live dance wasn't quite what we wanted, but that was actually a budget issue. We were over on some things, and it kind of came down to we had some surprise things that we were over on. So we had to kind of reduce what we were spending on lighting for the dances. So one of the first steps, and something we're going to be looking at this year, if it's feasible, is we're going to be pricing high efficiency equipment, LED lights as opposed to the giant cam lights, because that will help us both at the convention center, and that will also help us here. And hey, it's environmental. That's awesome. So I mean that's kind of major challenges between the two venues. Also, whenever you go to an AMA convention that's not directly attached to the convention center, if anyone here has been to ASEN, which is the major AMA convention in Chicago, the convention hotels are not, they've got walkways between the hotels and the convention center. For AMA conventions, it's actually kind of a big deal because our cosplayers don't like to go outside. It's true. They don't like to go outside. It's actually kind of hard on a large section of the population to make them go outside, especially in Chicago. Oh my God, the year I went, the weather was horrible.
Let's see.
It's the
Was it when it needed the humidity, or was it when it's just
It's just cold.
It was the wind.
It was the wind.
I actually had parts. I was actually cosplaying that year. I had parts of my costume blow off.
That's why it was called the Windy City.
Yes. So that's another consideration: is what type of event, what type of feel we want to have. Because we've got, do we want to start being a convention where people have to go outside and walk blocks to get there? It's an entirely different feel. I mean, I wish there was a larger convention hotel. There is this is, for better or worse, this is the best convention center. This is the largest convention hotel here in Portland. We've looked at other things. We've been looking at dual hotel solutions. We've been looking at various things pretty much for 4 years now.
I don't really see that that's going to be able to feasibly work, because the fact that just going back and forth is just going to be, even if it's viable, it would be very annoying.
Yeah, as near as we can tell, there are not any near enough adjacent hotels to make that work. We've been looking at that. We've been looking at everything for years, and we keep beating down the door of Travel Portland, which is our local, which is the visiting tourism center here in Portland, who's supposed to be providing support to us and helping with the hotel stuff and doing other stuff. And because they're going, hey, is there something we can do about this? And they're just like, no, this doesn't exist in Portland. So I mean, Kumoricon was able to do a viable hotel solution. They were in that solution for about 2 or 3 years to get them from a single hotel to the convention center.
2 hotels.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said single. Oh.
No.
Went
To
from
get
single
them.
to convention by going through a double.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't know that they were, I don't know before that.
Oh yeah.
I
Basically.
didn't notice that, I think that's a few years ago, if they switched.
What year did Kumoricon switch to the convention center?
2006.
2006. Yeah. Before that, they were at 2 hotels for like 2 or 3 years.
4.
Yeah.
4 years. 4 years.
Yeah, my first time there was when they switched there.
Yeah.
That'd be 06.
And, there's a lot of problems with being multiple hotels. And, I mean, also, even if the hotels were not near each other, or even if they're near each other, I mean, the logistics of moving around large amounts of people is always a problem. Moving people around within a single hotel is a problem, as we know from the elevators here. As Jeff pointed out, you put into words very concisely what I was trying to think about at one point, which is, if the elevator cars are filling up, the same thing is going to happen to sidewalks. The same thing's going to happen to buses, to streetcars, to the MAX train if we're trying to push people around. One potential things we could do is if we are at the Lloyd Center DoubleTree again, is we can look at having 1 or 2 offsite events at the convention center. This is a possibility. This is a possibility that's going to be looked into. But like I said, it's expensive. It's expensive, and Portland does not have the system to give us discounts. I mean, if it was just simply a problem with filling up hotel space, like if that could get us discounts on stuff, we would be fabulous. I mean, we would go and we can literally take over Vancouver or Washington. And we did. We're much smaller. We pretty much own that entire area. And we filled all surrounding hotels that year from what we've been told.